The first time I saw her, she was smaller than my hand, trembling atop the glass floor of the spaceport observation deck. Her mother, a towering figure with skin like molten silver, had collapsed just hours before, unable to make the trade that would have saved their kind. I didn't know what to do. Nobody did. But that was only the beginning. The tiny girl's eyes, brighter than any star I'd ever seen, locked onto mine. There was fear, yes, but also a challenge. A defiance that belonged to no species I knew. Humanity had always assumed strength meant size, weaponry, or numbers. But here was a being smaller than a child, facing the galaxy's most powerful human coalition alone. I asked myself, how is this possible? The announcement came over the loudspeakers. Unauthorized alien presence on level 7. All personnel maintain distance. Panic rippled through the terminal like a living thing. She didn't move. She tilted her head as if weighing my worth in an instant. My heart pounded. Why did I feel responsible? What was she waiting for? Her mother's fall wasn't subtle. Scientists and diplomats had arrived first, whispering about energy contracts, biological assets, the trade of a species' future. Her mother had tried to negotiate and failed. She was too weak to endure the tests, the games, the human demand for proof. And now the daughter had been left behind. Alone. Tiny. Defiant. I stepped closer, heart hammering against my ribs. She didn't flinch. Instead, she extended a hand no bigger than a fist, and I swear the air shifted, like gravity itself hesitated around her. There was an unspoken question. Will you help me, human? Or will you join the others in watching me fail? I hesitated. I knew the rules. No one interfered with alien protocol. But something in me, a memory of my own lost sister, my own failures, pulled me forward. I caught her hand. It was lighter than air, almost unreal. She gasped, a sound both human and unearthly, and the micro-holographic interface surrounding her shimmered in response. What I saw next changed everything. The station's automated systems detected the touch. Security drones hummed to life. And yet, when the girl clung to my hand, the drones paused. Her tiny form radiated something humans had never catalogued: authority and fear. I realized then that she wasn't just a survivor. She was a key. A test. A weapon, or perhaps a plea. She whispered, not in words but directly into my mind. Help me. They will destroy us if we fail. The thought made my skin crawl. Alien telepathy wasn't supposed to feel like a hug, like warmth sliding through your chest. And yet it did. My training, my logic, my human skepticism, all faltered under her gaze. I decided to take her somewhere safe. Somewhere humans couldn't reach. Somewhere she could breathe. The elevator ride to the restricted docking bays felt endless. Every step echoed through the deck like the ticking of a bomb. And with every sound I wondered, why am I the only one willing to risk this? None of the seasoned diplomats or soldiers dared step forward. None but me. She remained silent, but her eyes tracked every flicker of the lights. The microdrones whirred around her, scanning, analyzing. I thought of her mother, lying in a med bay somewhere, systems failing, strength spent. And I realized something horrifying. This little girl might be the last of her people. By the time we reached the bay, the full gravity of the situation hit me. A human warship, massive and bristling with energy cannons, loomed in orbit. Orders were coming in from command: secure the alien child. Negotiate if possible. Failure is not acceptable. But I had already made my choice. I wasn't turning back. The girl pointed toward a shuttle, one that had been scheduled for cargo transport. We go, she said, finally speaking in the guttural melodic tone of her species. Her words were fragile yet commanding. I followed without question. Where are we going? I asked. Somewhere no one will follow, she replied. But even that was only a half-truth. Space opened before us, black and infinite. Stars stretched into streaks as we accelerated, and I felt an odd sense of calm. She sat quietly in the co-pilot seat, her small fingers brushing over the console, imprinting commands I didn't understand. The shuttle seemed to respond to her will, not mine. It was terrifying. And mesmerizing. She told me her name was Lyra, though I suspected it wasn't quite a name as humans used the word. Names were badges of identity, of survival. Hers was a promise, an echo of her people's existence. And she carried it with a weight far beyond her size. I looked at her and asked, why are you alone? Her voice cracked slightly. Mother could not. She tried. Humans would not wait. Her small frame shook. And yet her eyes burned with fury. It was the first time I realized, this wasn't about survival anymore. It was about justice. About proving that her species mattered, even if the galaxy didn't care. Hours passed. We traveled through asteroid belts, slipping past sensors and patrols. I learned about her people, about the fragile civilizations crushed by human expansion, about the trades that were never fair. And every story she told felt like a hammer striking my soul. Humanity wasn't the benevolent force we believed ourselves to be. But none of that mattered in that moment. None of it. I was going to protect her. Then came the ambush. A human retrieval vessel dropped out of hyperspace, cutting off our path. Drones swarmed, weapons ready. I grabbed the controls, ready for evasive maneuvers, but Lyra's small hand rested on mine. The shuttle froze, responding only to her. In a voice that seemed to echo across the void, she said, "They will not take me." What happened next was impossible. Energy flared from her tiny body, coalescing into a shield that bent light and gravity around the shuttle. The drones collided against it like waves against a cliff. Weapons overloaded and sparked. Every human aboard those ships saw what I saw, a being no larger than a child controlling forces we couldn't comprehend. None of us were prepared for the truth. I asked her, trembling, how? She looked at me, a small smile curling her lips. Mother gave me strength. The trade was not for her. Was for me. She had inherited the full potential of her species in that moment. And with it, she became the most dangerous entity in human space. We didn't stop running. We didn't stop hiding. And yet, each moment brought revelation. The galaxy was vast, but her enemies were persistent. I realized something crucial. No human, no fleet, no policy could contain her. Yet she chose not to destroy. She chose me. And that choice terrified me more than any weapon ever could. Days later, we landed on a forgotten moon. Its atmosphere was thin, its surface jagged and barren. But it was ours for now. Lyra stepped onto the ground, tiny feet pressing into alien dust, and looked back at me. Her expression was calm, regal, and terrifying all at once. "You could leave," she said. "You could go back to your people. You wouldn't be blamed." I shook my head. "I can't. Not now. Not ever." And I meant it. I had seen humanity's cruelty, yes, but also its potential. And Lyra, she represented the ultimate test of that potential. Could we rise to meet her? Could we honor the choice she had made, risking everything to survive and to trust? 4 weeks we hid, studying the moon's caverns, the faint energy signatures of life below its surface. Lyra taught me things I could never explain to anyone else. How her species communicated through light and thought, how memory could be shared, how courage could manifest in the smallest body. Every lesson was a revelation. Every step was a gamble. But that was only the beginning. Then came the ultimatum. A fleet appeared in orbit, human commanders demanding surrender. They sent messages: return the child or face annihilation. I looked at Lyra. Her gaze pierced me. "Do we fight?" I asked. She smiled, small but certain. "We do not run. We do not surrender. But we do not destroy them, yet." Her words were a promise and a warning. And in that instant, I understood the power of what we had become. A human willing to stand with an alien, and an alien willing to teach humanity its own limits. The standoff lasted hours. Negotiations failed. Weapons were drawn. And yet, Lyra remained calm, her tiny form radiating a force that no human could defy. And then, something extraordinary happened. A single commander, the one responsible for her mother's failure, approached our shuttle alone, unarmed. He looked at me, then at her. His eyes betrayed fear, yes, but also understanding. He said, "Perhaps humanity has been wrong." Lyra nodded once. "Perhaps you have." And in that moment, I saw a bridge being built, fragile but undeniable, between two species who had once assumed only conflict. Humanity would survive. Her people would survive. And I, against all reason, against all protocol, had chosen the right side. Weeks later, we departed the moon together. Lyra perched on my shoulder, still tiny, still commanding, still terrifying. And as the stars stretched into streaks once more, I realized something profound. The universe didn't need human strength. It needed human courage. And sometimes, that courage came in the form of a human willing to protect a tiny alien girl who faced the galaxy alone. Her mother would have been proud. I was learning to be. And as we disappeared into the black, I whispered to her, "We are not alone." She tilted her head, eyes reflecting every star we passed. "No, we are not."